Hey everyone, this is Joe. Welcome back, and we're going to continue our series here where we continue to install all my emulators on this secondary PC that I have. Today we're going to do FightCade. And what is FightCade? Basically the best way to play your arcade games online with other players on the internet. It uses FBNeo as its backend, and it has rollback netcode with GPO. So we're going to go ahead and download this here for Windows. And I'm just going to go step by step of everything I will do here. So I went ahead and downloaded the latest. Alright, do you want to install FightCade? Yes. I have a particular folder that I want to put this in, so I'm going to go to my secondary storage here. Emulators. I'm going to hit OK. And we're just going to do /FightCade. So it's going to create a folder doing this. And it's going to go ahead and install the dependencies it needs, like DirectX. I know that this uses DX9 for certain emulators to run here. That's complete. We're going to hit finish. FightCade was successfully installed. We're going to hit OK. We'll double click the shortcut. Alright, and when you launch FightCade for the first time, if you have not set up an account, you will have to set up an account to play online. This is basically going to keep your scoreboard of the matches you've been in, your win-loss ratio, etc. You'll go to the website again. We'll hit register. Set up a username and password here. I've already set this up for myself. Alright, and once you log in, you'll be greeted with this screen for your first time. I'm going to maximize the window here so that we can see better. And we don't have any games installed as of yet. This is going to be the first step we're going to go here. We're going to close FightCade. We're going to go back to our web browser. And I'm not going to show you directly where to find the ROMs, but I'm going to guide you on how to find the ROMs. We're going to type in our search FightCade ROMs. Alright, so we'll search for FightCade ROMs, and I can't tell you exactly where to get it, but right here on screen I do see one that's very archivy that you may want to get, and that one is the one that's going to provide you all the compatible ROMs. So after you've gone ahead and downloaded that, it is a big file. You're going to have about 36 gigs of games. Once you've figured that out, I'm going to open up my emulator here. Now we're going to add games to the FightCade. This is going to be different from my last video. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now, in my ROMs folders for FightCade ROMs, I have all here. It's going to be FBNeo, Flycast, GG, OFBA, SNES, and NX. We're going to go into emulators. And you can see them labeled exactly the way my ROMs are labeled. So I'm going to go into FBNeo. We're going to go into, let's just check and config here. I'm going to go into ROMs. I'm going to go to FBNeo. I'm going to go to ROMs. I'm going to take this and Control A and just copy it over. And we'll just go back here. I do believe for this one you have to copy over the support folder. Just paste it in there. And what this has is the CHDs for Killer Instinct 1 and 2. We'll go back, go to Flycast. And here we see data and ROMs. We're going to go to the data file, drag these over into data. And we can just basically copy this folder over. If we click in it, we'll see it all here. And we'll continue to do the same for the next few. Just copy it over. All right, and now that it's all copied over, I am going to run a quick test here because I do want to make sure that the CHD for Killer Instinct works. So I'm going to go ahead and launch FightCade. And I'm going to go ahead and look for Killer Instinct. We're going to click join, and it's going to put it on our sidebar over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the game. There we go. We've launched Killer Instinct. All right, perfect. Now that that's out of the way, we're going to leave that. We're going to search here again. And I'm going to get rid of the search field. So it's going to show us the most commonly played games chronologically. Right now, this time of night, it seems to be 486 players on Street Fighter Third Strike. We're going to join that. And I'm going to find an assortment here. So we got Arcade FC2. This is going to use the Final Burn emulator to play the game. So I'm going to find one with a different one. Here we have Naomi with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I want to do King of Fighters 11 since this one is a common one asked. I'm going to go ahead and try this one first. Alright, King of Fighters in testing shows to work. Now we have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 using Naomi. It's going to use Flycast as well. We're going to test it. Perfect. It appears to be loading up and starting. Alright, so we know that works. Now we're going to go Third Strike. We're going to test that as well. Up here, top right, test your game before you jump into them. Third Strike seems to start with no problem. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to configure your controllers for these different emulators on FightCade. Okay, so now as far as setting up your controller, the one thing I recommend you do before you open up FightCade is plug in your controller to your computer. It's going to make it easier because I do believe that some of these emulators don't pick up the controller if you happen to plug it in as the emulator is open. So we're going to go ahead and start with the FBNeo arcade. And I do believe you're going to have to do this for every game that you want to play. We're going to go to test game. And then we're going to go to input on the top bar right here, and we're going to go to map game inputs. Here I have an Xbox One controller plugged in, and I'm going to go ahead and set it up as follows. I'm going to read to you what I'm pressing. So for coin 1, I'm double clicking on this, and I'm going to hit the menu button on the controller, and for start I'm going to hit the traditional start button. I'm going to hit up on my D-pad, down, left, right. and this is completely up to you. I like to set up my weak punch for basically left button or L1 on PlayStation. This will be the Xbox X button or the PlayStation Square. This will be Xbox Y button or PlayStation Triangle. You get the idea. Continue to set it up the way you want to set it up here. And I normally just do P1 side. Even if I'm going to play against somebody on the P2 side, this configuration works on both sides. From my experience, I'm not sure if you have to do both, but if you end up doing both here, it's gonna bug out because your coin button and start button is gonna play on both sides. So you do not want to have the same configuration for both sides. I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK. Hitting the coin button, now I'm gonna hit start.
Welcome to the world of Street Fighter. Battle. Well, I got one. Yeah, I see. Prepare to strike. Now.
Alright, so that's testing your buttons right there, just making sure everything works. You want to throw the lights and the mediums in there, you want to check it out, make sure everything works for you. We're going to get out of this one, and we're going to go ahead and set up the Flycast one within FightCade. I'm going to go ahead and test game. We're going to go ahead into the settings, controls. Has the Xbox controller here. Now it has me on port B because it reads that my PlayStation controller is connected via Bluetooth. So I'm going to go ahead and put port A and none. Here I'm going to check the mappings. This is under Dreamcast controls. We don't want Dreamcast controls for this one. We want arcade controls. And at the moment, it's not giving us much to work with here. We're going to go ahead and hit done. Done, and it's going to launch us into the game. And I believe once we're in the game, it's going to give us the game-specific button configurations. Okay, so I went ahead and pressed start. It's under free play here. And I want to see what the button configuration is out of the box. Okay, so it seems to have it already pretty much set up. I checked that A and B were my punches and X and Y were the kicks. However, if this is not a configuration that you want, come into settings. I'm gonna hit the map button here, and you can actually make a specific game configuration. And you can see the moves here. This is something we didn't catch in the last menu, and we're gonna go ahead and change that here. I'm gonna go unmap all of these. I'm gonna make light punch my X button on the Xbox controller. Strong punch is Y. Assist A is gonna be L. Light kick is A. Hard kick is B. Assist is gonna be my right bumper. And that's it for Marvel vs. Capcom. As you saw that I hit the make game config, this way it doesn't ruin the configurations for other games. I'm gonna hit done, done, resume.
Your move. Unity. Propose unity. Smart program. Superior attack.
Okay, and it seems to be working just fine. If you're wondering how to get to this menu, it's not bound on the controller. You're gonna have to hit tab on your keyboard. So we're done here. Now we're gonna go into King of Fighters, which is also Flycast, but I want to show you the difference in the controller configuration. We have to start the game first. And here we're gonna hit tab. We're gonna go to settings. We're gonna go to controls. X input controller. All right. And here are the buttons laid out. We'll go with that first and we'll see. Actually, this is Dreamcast controls. Arcade. Here are the controls. So light punch and strong punch are queued up to A and B, and the blow off is on R1. Okay. So if you don't want to change anything and this looks good for you, for me this looks good, we're gonna go ahead and hit done. Done. Resume. And we're gonna give it a quick test here.
Get ready.
Let it go!
Kick back. Rock two. Running. Beat up. Rock two. Rock two. Running. Oh yeah. Kick back. Rock two. Running. Running. Beat up.
All right. Buttons work just fine for me here. We're gonna leave this alone. You guys get the idea. We're gonna move on to the next games. Now I'm gonna get rid of this. Now, interesting thing here is if you actually join their Patreon, you actually will have more slots here for your favorite games or the games you want to queue up for. On a standard account, you're only limited to 3. It's okay for me for now. I have set up away mode here. This way I don't get alerts while I'm in a game category. And over here, you'll notice if you hover, you can actually mute the channel as well from getting notifications for a match. So we're going to get rid of that. I want to test out a few different ones right now. So FightCade is not only just great for fighting arcade games, but you can also play certain SNES games and other games here with your friends. So if I look for WWF, the old school WWF games, we can actually see that there's a bunch of games here, and Flycast has these available so that you can play online with other players. If I go to WWF Raw, for instance, we can join this, and if we had a friend to jump in here with us, we'd probably be able to jump into the game and play together. So this opens up online play for a vast majority of games. I want to show you the different type of consoles they have available here too. If you click this menu here, you'll be able to search by systems, and we have a plethora of systems here. So you can see there are some people already playing games here if you just go to the categories. And like I mentioned, all of these games are available in that pack that you saw on the search that we did online for FightCade ROMs. So it's not just about arcade games, but they actually make online play accessible for other consoles, which is pretty dope. Alright, and like I mentioned, if you have it on all, we're going to see the main player base here on FightCade, and you're going to see it cascade down by the amount of players in each lobbies. And we're going to jump into this lobby here just so that we can see what it's like in a lobby. You'll have your players that are looking to play. This is if you make yourself available. I made myself away for this example. But there's also people playing the game. Interesting thing about this is that you can also spectate matches that are going on too. So I'm going to go ahead and right click this and we're going to spectate. Emulator showed up down here. And now we're watching these two players go at it. Now the background, that's kind of like a, when the round is over, you'll be able to see the background, but as you're loading in watching as a spectator, on the initial, if you're not there at the beginning of the match, you're gonna get a black background, but you can see the action. And we can close it and move on. There's also a replay system here. If you click on replays, it's going to take us to the website where we'll be able to see, yeah, click that once. It's going to take us to the website where we'll be able to see the players in Street Fighter 3 and all the matches are stored here. So we can actually go ahead and click view replay. You'll need to allow FightCade to open this. So we're going to hit choose application, FCade, exe. Always use this, open link. Alright, and as you can see the background is black, but once he jumps into the round, it'll fix itself. There we go.
Fighters ready. Engage.
So this is really cool. And then we have a ranking system. You can see who the top players are and from which region they're in. We'll close this. All right, everyone. So this is my installation of FightCade. If you found this helpful, don't forget, give the video a like. If you want to see more videos of me updating this computer with more emulators, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can catch these videos as they show up. And if you're having any further issues, don't forget to join their Discord community. There are a lot of helpful people there that can help you with whatever issues you may be having afterwards. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.